This is Jarrod Horak. Welcome to my latest Road to the 2023 Kentucky Derby video. In this video, I'm going to do analysis of the Sunland Park Derby, and stay tuned for a bonus free selection on the Road to the Kentucky Oaks. I'm going to do the Sunland Park Oaks as my second quick pick in this video. I'm going to go through, I'm going to give out my top choice and wagering strategies in each of these races. Now, if you're interested in my annual Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes full cards, you'll find those at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page later this spring. So check out that sales page. I have the different products that I'm going to be covering for this Triple Crown series this year. And now we're just going to dive into the analysis of this one. And I'm going to be doing the 10th race at Sunland Park for Sunday, March 26, 2023, the Grade 3 $600,000 Sunland Derby. This is for 3-year-olds, 1 1/8 on the main track, scheduled post time 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. I think we're going to have a lively pace in here, and that scenario would help. Number one, how did he do that? He's 9-2 morning line for trainer Steve Asmussen. This is a son of good magic, and he's one that he's only 2 for 8, but I like the fact that in his last start, the Riley Allison Derby, they put blinkers on and he ran a better race. He rallied from 7th place in a 9-horse field. He rallied wide. He finished second. He was beaten a length, and he was 3 lengths clear of the show finisher. That was a good effort, and he proved he could handle this distance. His only other distance race was the 1-mile Smarty Jones Stakes. He didn't get any pace out there. He was 5th in an 8-horse field in that event. So now he's going to run in his longest race, and I think he's going to save ground behind the speed, and I can definitely see him hitting the board if the pace does heat up. One of the horses that's going to be on the pace is the 2 Low Expectations. He lost his first 4 turf races, then they dropped him into a maiden claiming 62.5 and moved him over to 1 mile on dirt, and it was a good track at Santa Anita on January 15th, and he was able to wire the field from the outside post that day. And then in his next starter allowance race at Santa Anita last time, 1 mile again, it was only a 4-horse field, and he was able to get out there and hold on by a neck. He took pace pressure, he turned away his challengers, and he won that one by a neck. And it was 15 lengths back to the show finisher. So looking at his 2 wins, he had Lasix in both of those races. He won't have it here. He's stepping way up in class, and he's meeting other speed. Fort Bragg could be the class of the field for trainer Tim Yakteen. This is a son of Tappet, and they paid $700,000 for him. He's run 5 times with a win, a second, and 2/3. But he actually did cross the line first 2 times. But in his career debut, 5.5 furlongs was too short, and he rallied from 7th to finish 3rd, and he was a clear 3rd. Speedboat Beach was his stablemate at the time. He was a next out stakes winner. He won that one, showing a lot of speed. And then Hijazi, another quick horse, he ended up finishing clearly second best. He was an expensive yearling purchase. And then Fort Bragg was well clear of the rest. He just couldn't threaten the top 2. He just wasn't fast enough. Then they stretched him out to 1 mile, second time out. He stalked from the outside post. He led. He won by a length and a half. He was going to win that race anyway, but he bothered a Practical Move, the runner-up, and they reversed positions. They took Fort Bragg down. They placed him second. They placed Practical Move first. They put blinkers on in his next start, and he made the victory stick. This time he went right to the front at Santa Anita on 1 mile and 16th, and he was able to defeat Reincarnate, a next out winner, by 3/4 of a length. And then Reincarnate won the Sham Stakes earlier this year, and he was also 3rd in the Rebel Stakes. Now, Practical Move was able to defeat Fort Bragg in the Los Al Futurity when he had early trouble. They wanted to get him up there early, it looked like Flavien Prat did, but then he was checked, shuffled back. He was last early, worked his way up to 3rd, and he ended up finishing 3rd. No threat to Practical Move or the pace-setting runner-up Carmel Road, but he was a clear 3rd that day. And then his first start this year, he moved from Bob Effort's barn to Tim Yakteen's barn, mile and a 16th San Felipe Stakes. And in that race, he had post 7 in a 9-horse field. He was stalking wide. He was sitting in a decent spot in 3rd, but he couldn't keep going, and he ended up finishing 5th, beaten 5.5 lengths. Not a bad effort in a 9-horse field. Practical Move saved all the ground, just like he did in the Los Al Futurity, and he scooted up the rail and won that one. Go Rocket Ride was second, and Skinner was 3rd. All of those horses are probably going to come back in the Santa Anita Derby, and then Fort Bragg chose this spot for his chance to qualify for the Kentucky Derby. He can set a good stalking trip here, I think, behind Lively Fractions. Henry Q is number 4, and he's 3-1 morning line. This is a son of Blame, and they paid $125,000 for this one. In the 2021 September Keeneland sales, He's 2 for 4 lifetime, and those wins were in his last 2 starts after he finished fourth in back-to-back starts at 5 furlongs and 6 furlongs. But I like the distance progression, starting at 5, then going to 6, and then breaking his maiden at 7 furlongs on February 4th at Santa Anita, stalking and winning nicely, and then stretching out to a mile and a 16th in the Mind That Bird Derby at Sunland Park, a local prep race for this on February 28th. He got out there, he controlled the pace, he dominated, he won by 14 lengths under Edwin Maldonado, and he's going to ride him back. He should be up on the pace, and he's meeting better horses, but he did earn a decent speed rating last time. One in Vermillion is the 5, and he's another one that can show speed. He showed speed in back-to-back victories. The Lost in the Fog Juvenile at Turfway Park at 6.5 furlongs on December 21st. Riley Allison Derby, he wired the field. How did he do that? I mentioned that one earlier. He's number 1 in this race. He was clearly second best. So 1 in Vermillion. Harry Hernandez will ride back, and he's one that's going to impact the pace. Hard to Figure is your 2-to-1 favorite for trainer Bob Baffert. This is a son of Hard Spun, and Flavien Prat's going to ride this one. And his career debut at 5.5 furlongs, he set the pace. He finished third. Newgate won that one. Newgate ended up winning the Robert Lewis Stakes, and then he was injured, and he's off the Derby trail. Carmel Road defeated him second time out, and he was 11 lengths back as a clear show finisher. Then Hard to Figure broke his maiden in the Capote Stakes, a restricted stakes race at Los Alamitos Racecourse last September. He chased from second. He pulled clear. He won by 3 lengths. The runner-up was the next out winner. Hard to Figure came back in the Bob Hope Stakes at 7 furlongs, and he set the pace, and he weakened to finish 5th, beating 13 lengths under Flavien Prat, the only time Prat rode this one. He lugged out. He was ranked that day. You can draw a line through that one. And in his last start, the Robert Lewis Stakes, he ended up pressing the pace. He took the lead in the stretch. He could not hold off Newgate in that Robert Lewis, but he was second, beating the neck. A good effort. That was his first start of the year, and that was clearly the best speed rating of his career. They paid $200,000 for this one. He's got some early pressing speed, and I think he should make his presence felt throughout. Wild on Ice. This one is a son of Tapizar, and he is a gelding, and he's run 4 times with 2 wins and a 3rd place finish. He's 20-to-1 morning line. His wins were in back-to-back races in his first 2 starts at Zia Park at 6 furlongs and 5.5 furlongs. He stalked at his debut. He dueled second time out. His last 2 starts, Riley Allison Derby, he was 9th by 24 lengths. He made a middle move. He faded. And then last time, the Mind That Bird Derby, he was 3rd, beaten 20 lengths. But Henry Q did win that one by 14 lengths. And then the runner-up was 6 lengths clear of him. And he just did get 3rd by a nose. So he's one that he would really have to step up his game in here. I don't think that he's going to be able to compete with a field like this. So in this Sunland Park Derby, I'm going to go with Fort Bragg as my top choice. I just think he's kept the best company. He's just faced a lot of good horses in Southern California, and I like the fact that he has tactical speed, and I think that at least 2 or 3 horses should be out there on the lead. He's going to be sitting a good stalking trip, and if he handles the surface and he's good enough and he can handle the added ground, at 4-to-1, I think it's probably worth a gamble. Hard to Figure will be my second choice. Henry Q, number 4, my third choice. And then How Did He Do That, I think can rally for a piece of this. So we'll make a win wager on the 3 Fort Bragg, play an exacta box, Fort Bragg to 3, and the 6 Hard to Figure. Then a trifecta, 3, 6, 1, 3, 4, 6, with the 1, 3, 4, and 6. And now I will give out my top choices in the Sunland Park Oaks. It will be race 8 at Sunland Park for March 26th. For this Sunday race, it's a $300,000 race. It's a Kentucky Oaks points race for 3-year-old fillies, mile and a 16th on the main track, with a scheduled post time, 5:41 p.m. Eastern Time. Your morning line favorite is number 1, Flying Connection, and this one is a daughter of Nyquist, and she comes off of a romping win in the Island Fashion, the local prep for this when she stretched out in distance. So from that inside post, I would expect that she's going to try to go right to the lead. I'm going to pick the second choice on the morning line in this race as my top choice. That's the 4, Doing It the Hard Way for trainer Bob Baffert. This one is a daughter of Street Sense, and they paid $240,000 for her. And she's one that I've always liked, and she couldn't really put it all together, but it was nice to see her do exactly that last time. Her career debut was at 5 furlongs, and she was second after dueling on the lead, and she was clearly second best. They went to 6.5 furlongs second time out. She was the even money favorite. She was 3rd, beaten 8 lengths. They stretched her out to 1 mile in her next start. Ice Dancing, a next out stakes winner, beat her that day. But she really gave that one a battle, and Ice Dancing was the favorite. And it was 13 lengths, more than 13 lengths back to the show finisher. they put her as a maiden in the Starlet Stakes, and in that Grade 1, she set the pace. Faiza, her stablemate, won that one. Pride of the Nile was second. She ended up finishing fourth. She just couldn't hold on to third in the late going. And then back in the maiden ranks in a 6-furlong race, she ran poorly. She ran last. She was sixth, beaten 26 lengths. Don't know what happened there. Probably doesn't want to sprint. And then in her last race, they stretched her back out, and that was the key to success. She got to the lead from the inside post, and she won by 9 lengths under John Velasquez. A big effort there in a 4-horse field, but she earned a quality speed rating, and I think she wants to get up on the pace in these route races and get into a nice rhythm. And if she can do that, she's the kind of filly that can win a race like this. So Flavien Prat's back aboard in here, and I would expect that she's going to impact the pace. And then Foolish Delight will round out my top 3 for trainer Greg Green. He shows a profit with horses trying a route of ground for the first time. This one was a $40,000 daughter of Carpe Diem, and she's already earned more than twice that. And coming off of a romping win at 6 furlongs at Sunland, rallying from off the pace as the heavy favorite by 6 lengths, and she earned a quality late pace rating there. So I think stretching out in distance, I think she'll get a little bit of pace to chase, and I think she'll be sitting there behind the speed, and I think maybe she's best of the rest, and she can get a little piece of this one. So for the Sunland Park Oaks, I will make a win wager on number 4, Doing It the Hard Way. I'll play a one-way exacta, Doing It the Hard Way over the 1 Flying Connection, and then I'll play a trifecta, 1-4 with the 1-3-4 with the 1-3-4. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content. We're going to keep chugging along with these Oaks and Derby points races as we get closer to the 2023 Kentucky Derby. The next 2 weekends are crucial with some big points races coming up. So until I see you next time, good luck at the races.